Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And seeing as this is 3MB, we're proudly sponsored by VMB Auto Centres at Handsworth. They're still offering that amazing deal of 50% off your MOT when you let them know that you're a Rambler. Call them now on 0114 322 4446. Thank you to VMB Auto Centres for their continued support of the Ramble.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is 3 not so Mardy Blades, it has to be said. How can you be Mardy after what happened on Sunday? We went to Hillsborough and we smashed them. And yes, we've got a game against a different opposition tomorrow, but we are trying to squeeze and wring out the last little bits of joy. And look, it'll continue past this Pompey fixture and past this Leicester fixture. We could get beaten next two, to be honest, and we'll probably still be talking about that 3-0 at Hillsborough because they were so bad. I'm not saying we were so good. I still think we were good, but they were so bad, and they're destined for League One. And I feel a little bit personally like the rivalry is back. They look like they're coming out of the darker times that they've had in more recent years under Chansiri. There will be a new dawn for Sheffield Wednesday. I still think it's pot luck as to what they end up getting, because it always is with new ownership. You know, we were really excited when the American owners came in, and it's not, I'm not saying they aren't, you know, not without the want to try in, because they have made changes, they have spent money, but it's not worked. Look at our situation now, and we arguably had more disposable income under this new ownership than we did under Prince Abdullah. So you never know what's around the corner. Just sometimes it's better the devil you know. I think a lot of Blades will tell you that, but tonight we're going to reflect a little bit back on Sunday and what it was like as a day. And one man who can certainly tell us all about it because he was there. You may have seen it. He helped us put together Ramble on the Road. And then there were some other video clips that I pulled in of him as well that got floated around within our group. So without any further ado, it's Paul the Man Mountain.
This is the view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man mountain strong and true. What a man, what a view.
Now then, matey, how's it going?
I'm very good, yeah. How can we not be?
Oh,
really good, isn't it? So yeah, very positive tonight, boys. No moping about. It's a really good feeling.
We will get Dave the Nose on in just a second, but I need to ask you very quickly, how was Sunday as a day? Because I know you were, were it a 9 o'clock meet you were supposed to have?
Yeah, I was a little bit later because I had to drive up, obviously. It's a bit of a drive, but yeah, nice early start in Penenka. Went for a couple of pints and then we got on the bus and went over, courtesy of Rich Carrington. Shout out to Rich who sorted it all out for us.
Top man.
And yeah, we went over. The 6 of us in a little group, but just we're all in it together. The Blades, everyone was chatting to each other all around. It was a real bit of a carnival, wasn't it? In the second half, when the second goal goes in, everyone calms down a little bit. I've got to say, as a United-ite, it's got to be the best experience of an actual match I think I've ever had. We've been to
really.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think
High
so.
praise
I mean,
indeed.
I put it right up there with the Nottingham Forest playoff tie at home.
Wow,
I do.
That's incredible. Really,
I think it's because of the circumstances. I mean, I know there's been a lot said about the position of Wednesday and what they've had to put up with, and you know, whatever that is.
Yeah,
we're not doing very well, and we needed to go there and dominate, and did the job that a lot of us were fearing we might not be able to do, and it was so comprehensive and so dominant that yeah, we were riding the adrenaline and the feeling in the stands and the it was just really, really, really good. And then afterwards, we went out and carried on and got my card signed as it was my birthday weekend. So,
Nice.
so yeah, we carried on, and a good time was had by all, that's for sure.
United 3, the Wednesday 0. Yes.
Boring that, does it? It's do it 100 times on a loop.
Chrissy Wilder.
The enthusiasm was still there.
I'll tell you what, though, that could be one that sticks because it'll be a result that we remember, won't it? So, anyway, this isn't a two-man show. This is a 3 Mardy Blades. Let's get him in. It's Dave the Nose.
Dave the Nose, he really knows where the wind and the whispers blow. Smelly brain, he's in the know. Dave the Nose steals the show.
Davey, but I know, look, before I say hello to you, actually, the common consensus is that the 2 best songs on the Ramble are between Man Mountain's View from the Mountain and Bald and Brilliant Lee. I do have a soft spot for that Dave the Nose tune, I have to say. But hello, David, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really good. Yeah.
It's good to see you.
We can't keep talking about Sunday, though, can we?
Yeah.
We can.
We can. We can. So, I think Paul was just touching on it briefly, really, because there has been a little bit of criticism of the celebrations. Wilder touched on it in his presser today, where he's saying you can't, what we're supposed to do. We beat his rivals. Absolutely right, Dave. That's 3 on spin. He's unbeaten in 7 against them. But more so, like Paul was leaning into a little bit, I think there's a bit of relief spilled into it as well, to be honest, from a United side, because we did dominate the fixture. It was a very comfortable afternoon for us in the end. It were quite an enjoyable watch for a Steel City derby, which is very rare for us to say. But I think with that comes relief, because going into the game, I know Paul was confident that we'd be the better side. It never guarantees, no matter how confident you are, it never guarantees you the victory anyway, because it's not whose 11 has got the better quality in these games usually, even though it did pan out that way on the day. Me and Dave were quite tentative going into the fixture. We hate the fixture. A lot of Blades do. A lot of Wednesdayites hate the fixture as well. Probably even more so now. But, Paul, you were confident going in. There's still those nerves, though, isn't there? In terms of when it comes closer to kick-off. And no matter how confident you are in your own team being better than theirs, Derby Day is something different, isn't it?
It is. And I think that it's about, we know goals change games. It's one of the old cliche sayings, isn't it? But to go in with a lead kind of changes the way that Wednesday have to go about it in the second half, and the way that they have to keep trying to. If they could hang on for 0-0, I reckon they would have hung around as long as they possibly could. And the longer the game went without a goal, it kind of plays into the nerves of our players, which we have got nervous forwards at the moment who aren't firing on all cylinders. It's fair to say, and I think the first goal was so important. Really good press, and I'm going to talk about that.
I agree.
Something Rich was talking to me about. We're a really good press inside, and Callum O'Hare is very good at it and starts it for us a lot of the time. And guess what? It was a press. Riedeveld, wasn't it, who nipped the ball, squares it to O'Hare. Really good repositioning of the play. So when you win the ball in a tight area and there's players there, to get the ball shifted wide into that's where the spaces are, was really good. It was done really, really quickly. Some people, if it hadn't worked and the defender had read it or something like that, they'd have gone, O'Hare should have shot. And we've said that about 100 times. But the way that he laid it off, it was perfect. Campbell proving again that he is the man on the spot. Yes, he missed one that you'd have thought he might have scored, but he's the man.
Big match tie, isn't he? He's big match tie.
He's the one who I wouldn't say nerveless, but he's the most natural finisher we've got in terms of when the chance falls to him. Certainly last season we saw the best of it, didn't we? Where he doesn't even break stride, he just runs on and slaps it in the corner and whatever. And I thought that the goals came at the right time for us. I was always quietly confident that even if we got to an hour without a goal in the game, which happens a lot in these sorts of ties anyway, because they're always really tight, I still had confidence, having watched them lot a few times, that in the last half an hour we would find a way through, and not just because of they tire and they haven't really got a bench. It's about also the fact we've got some good players to come off that bench. And certainly for this game, we had good players on this bench where I was like, these will come on and do something good. And the substitutes came on and affected the game, none less than Pat Bamford, obviously, who is a gamble worth taking. Are we all on that page now after our little discussion last week? Do you think we are?
Just checking the page. Yes, we're all on that same one, I think. To be honest, I'm going to stick with this because this was my point throughout. I ain't got a problem with Patrick Bamford coming in if we can keep him fit. That was my concern. It's a huge outlay for a player that isn't. We don't want another Tom Davis, and I hate to sort of slate one of our own players with a backhander there, or a Ryan Brewster or a Reece Norrington Davis, where that they're quite brittle and they're not really made of tough enough stuff. And that is still true, but we have seen, and I'll concede, I didn't quite recognise the level of impact he could have for us. And I think already, and I don't want to over-egg it, because I think he could in 20 minutes of football that he's played, but I think you can already see signs of what he can bring to this side, and it's quite exciting that what we could have there in terms of a player.
I think he offers us a different option at the top of the pitch, and not just because he's more likely to hold the ball up and win flick-ons, but as soon as he came onto the pitch, the one thing about nervous footballers who haven't been doing very well at any level, the ball becomes a hot potato that you get it. You need to put it somewhere else. You need to get rid of it very quickly, and you end up playing percentages. You play with less accuracy and less confidence. And the one thing that he did straight away was pass the ball into my feet. This is my ball now, and I'm going to turn. It's mine now, and I'm gonna play, and then I'm going to do this. And it's like, and that's what you get with and it's a mindset thing. You can have as good a footballer as you want. You can be as good a footballer as you like. But you've got to have a brain that says, okay, if you want this ball, you're going to have to foul me, and I'm going to look after it properly. And he was doing that straight away. And being quite clever with it as well. So he's been used to playing in this last part of his career. He's been used to playing at a higher level than the Championship, and I thought he stood out as somebody who had that bit of composure. That's the word, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, Dave, I'm just going to circle back a little bit just to Tyrese Campbell, because we've all been quite vocal about Ty Campbell, and I think justifiably so. And I've said this on a couple of streams now, even since Sunday. I don't take back anything that I've said previously about him, but I also think you have to acknowledge that in big games, Tyrese Campbell has come up for us. It's come up trumps for us, particularly in the derby. But there's also been occasions in other league games and on other occasions where, when we've needed something, Tyrese Campbell has been that man, and he's not been at his best this season. And I think it's justifiable stick that he's got. But we talk about things like the bending run that all three of us have talked about previously on this stream that was really evident with the first goal. And obviously then he had a similar chance later in the game as well, that he'd arced his run for Callum O'Hare. It just times his run beautifully so that he's onside when he's ready to receive the ball. Do you think he's bought himself some time with fans like us, really, who were very quick to, particularly with strikers, it's very easy to get on their back quite early doors, but does he buy himself? He's certainly, like, he's etched his name into folklore a little bit, hasn't he? And does that buy him a little bit of time, do you think, with the fan base and a bit of good grace?
I think when we've ever had a player who's shown a lot of good form and then maybe has a tough spell, it's none of us want to be saying, right, we get to January and let's.
No, we don't want to, but I think all of us were sort of vocally disappointed with how he's been.
Yeah, we have. And I think if he isn't already, on reflection, he'll be disappointed in himself for his performances. But I also, and we should, as fans, back him that he's got that. You can have purple patches, and them go away. It doesn't mean you can't rediscover that, and he's got to back himself to find it again. And I just think they looked like there was that little bit of a smile back on his face, that little bit of a spark, a bit of that's something special, because we know how good a finisher he is, and we know how quick he can be, how he can get himself in those positions. And I think the challenge for him now is to take the confidence from the performance on Sunday, go into tomorrow night, and sort of kick on from here. And I certainly wasn't sort of expecting that we'd look to get rid of him or move him on. You
No,
just
I
think,
weren't
well,
either.
What needs to sort of unlock in his brain, and that can be said for a lot of them. Who've had periods of where they've been challenging this season. Femi Sariki can maybe be an example where he's not hit the heights at the start of the season that he wanted to, but I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he was
a
excellent.
real handful on Sunday. I'm sure Harrison Burrows, will come back, and when he forces his way back into the team, he'll show again what is special about him and what we enjoyed so much from last season. Michael Cooper's starting to, really, let's be fair, he could have been sat in a deck chair for
the other day off, didn't he? On
for
Sunday.
90 minutes. But I think the more those clean sheets happen, and I really like me and Tanganga together in front of him, and I think that'll give him that confidence. And I think how well Gyro played, I think it just starts the building blocks when they all start to click together and go, do you know what? We're starting to refine it again, but without putting too much of a downer on it. It's really important we go against Portsmouth and we replicate the speed of play, that intensity, and we go and make the chances, because as positive as a lot of the things were from Sunday, they were really, really bad.
They were awful, and I want to spend a bit, not a lot of time, but I do want to give us the opportunity. I never like digging other teams out. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's what we do, but they are our rivals, and they were awful, absolutely. Or I don't think I'd be more disappointed if they would have just. If I'm a Wednesday fan, if they'd have give it everything, I wouldn't have minded so much if they'd have give it everything and just not been good enough. I didn't feel like they were busting a gut. I thought they'd given up, to be honest. And
they were beaten at 1-0, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Edge went down and then never ever recovered. Just on Bamford though, Dave, because you touched on it there in terms of Campbell's form as well. Do you think Bamford's been that rocket for Campbell, that wake up call that says my spot is not assured here? And on a similar vein, do you think that our front line is possibly now complete with the 4 that we've got? O'Neill will go out on loan undoubtedly, but do you think he feels like it's certainly at the moment we won't be looking for a striker in January?
You'd say so, but again, we're talking out how many minutes did we see from Bamford? Let's just not one swallow don't make a summer, so let's just give it a bit of time. And I'm not downing on him because he did look really, really bright.
Yeah, he did.
Right, but the challenge is for all of them. So the challenge is for Ty as well to keep that performance level up. I'd be interested to see Bamford and Campbell together. I think that could be something quite interesting.
Do you see that tomorrow?
Possibly, depending on whether he wants to start Gus or not. Yeah, I think we could do. I do. Yeah, I really do think we could see that, because I think I'm not sure whether Ings and Campbell, whether there's that understanding or not yet. Whether they'll work, I'm not sure. It's not quite clicking yet for Ings, but he's going to need the opportunities to try and make it for himself. It's a tough one for him.
I think he's got Ings a bit deep for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe he feels he's got to do that if he wants to play Ty on the last man, or
possibly
for those spaces. So I would like to see Bamford and Campbell start one of the next 2 games.
Paul nodding away, mate.
Yeah, I think Ings would be quite suited to I think Bamford's going to end up being the linchpin of the forward line. Personally, I think he's going to be the one that gets partnered because
it's Bamford +1, is it for you? Eventually, when he's up to speed.
Yeah, well, the thing for me is now we've got 4 centre forwards for what we hope will continue to be 2 spots in the team.
Who all played a decent part, didn't they, on Sunday, to be fair?
They did. And with Cannon getting his goal, that is excellent for someone like him. We've been saying it for ages. It might be the springboard for him. Do I see him starting many? Not really. I think he starts the odd one here and there when we've had 3 games in a week, potentially. But it's 2 for 4 now, as long as they stay fit. Now, Bamford did link the play and win some headers. I still don't think Campbell played particularly well. His all-round game wasn't particularly good from my perspective. I thought he looked leggy. I thought he was a bit cumbersome and slow to get back on side at times. I think he's one of those that he's still going to come in for some criticism just because the stuff that doesn't happen off the ball for me, and when he doesn't offer us enough in general play. Yet he is probably the primary finisher. So I think it will be Bamford and Campbell as the first choice, but I think Ings would be much better suited to Bamford because Ings is clever enough to read flicks and read.
He is.
And read the next.
And gamble.
I think he's the clever one. Is Ings?
Yeah.
So I think he's the one. I think if you look across and you see Danny Ings either starting or on the bench and coming on, it makes such a difference. 5 substitutes. It's a real difference maker to have high quality options on your bench that offer you something slightly different from what you've already got. And if Cannon can come on and do what he did, fair play to him. You know, I think he's going to be a different player for that. And the adulation of the fans can only give him the confidence that he needs. He's been crying out for it. All the fans were singing his name in the pub afterwards, singing his name. People want him to do well, and I think that's a really good thing about Sheffield United. I think for all like we say, we're allowed to be more critical than a manager is in the press, but I think he could come good for us. It all looks quite good up there, but there is like you say, a note of caution because I think Sheffield Wednesday played completely into the hands of us in terms of how they play, how they wanted to play and build from the back, cost them the first goal. And
they're not good enough.
And Rich was saying this to me. I just want to name check him on it because he's saying we are an excellent pressing side. And what he thinks is that when we've done that before, we've been having success like against Preston, against Coventry, they kind of figured it out a little bit and started going a bit more direct. But these guys on Wednesday, Portsmouth, it'll be quite similar to the QPR match where they will go more direct through the press and they'll sit in. So it'll be a different kind of challenge. They'll sit in their banks. They'll invite us on, and then they'll try and hit us on the break.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different challenge. And what we've got to do as Blades fans is try and understand that challenge and try not to get too exasperated if it's not quite the champagne off the ceilings like it was on Sunday. Because ultimately, Jim, what's the most important thing here? The strikers have scored goals. That's great. The performance was decent against what we've already said is the weakest side in this division.
Yeah, by a stretch.
We did the job, and it could have been 5, and we've got to be happy with 3. What we've got to do in this one is stick with them because what we want now is some momentum. If we are going to have any ambitions this season, the gap to the playoffs, and again, I don't want to talk about playoffs or relegation too early, but it's 12 points. And I think if we can get ourselves a couple of victories, 2 out of 3 victories, and here and there and everywhere else, I think that we have got a side that can bridge the gap. And then when that gap gets bridged, we'll start talking about looking up and thinking more about it. Yes, we are still in the bottom 3. Yes, we've only got 13 points, but we are doing things a lot better. We are seeing performances from players who we think have been trying to find fitness in Wiedeveld, in Ings, who are becoming big ingredients for us. Pat Bamford, who apparently, just to put a positive on this, was as fit as he's ever been in the summer. Apparently, he was ready for a Premier League campaign. He looked in good nick. He didn't look like he was carrying, and I'm excited by that little bit of know-how, that little bit of composure that he brings to the table.
Me too, mate. Me too. I'm going to pick up on a couple of things just that I disagree with. I think you're a bit harsh on Campbell, first and foremost. I think he had a better game than he's had in recent times. That doesn't mean it was a good performance. I'm not trying to sort of spin a narrative on that. I just think when he's got his 2 goals, that has given him the extra sort of adrenaline boost to keep going a little bit longer. But I agree with you. I think he did fade towards the latter stages of the game, which has been Campbell's thing throughout the season. Hasn't been fit enough, doesn't look fit enough. And my dad's concern when he were here the other day with watch along was he might just be one of them players that can never get fully fit, can never get to peak fitness levels where he's going to be able to go for 90 minutes like week in, week out. It might just be something that, he's not a natural athlete, which is disappointing and just could be the case. The other thing, the point that Rich made, I agree. I think we are a very good pressing side. And I think the fitness, again, has let us down with that this season. And I think we've seen that we've faded in games. Second half, we are nowhere near the same pressing, or we hadn't been. I'm not saying this won't change with the change of staff and Wilder's standards coming in and raising the standards. But certainly at the beginning of the season and into the early games of Wilder's reign, I thought that we started off really well in a lot of games where we'd do a really high press and we'd put teams under pressure. In the first 10 minutes, you'd be like, go on then, we can have a go at these. And then it would just like spend energy and we get further and further back. And in second half, we're 10 yards off them sometimes. So it's about being consistent in the press. We are very good at it. And I think against Wednesday, it was easier because they're a poor side. And it's like you say, it's a new test for us tomorrow night. I love the fact that players like Gyro are coming to the fore now, because he's one of those that none of us really knew a lot about him. You can read up on him all you like, but unless you've seen him play in the flesh, you don't know too much. So that's why none of us have made any outlandish statements like, oh, he's a brilliant signing and we need to make sure we sign him permanently. But even in those first few games, you could see glimpses from him of a little bit of a touch of class on the ball, and you think he's a bit of a calming influence on this side. He puts his foot on it, he slows things down a little bit, but he can stick his foot in as well and win the ball. He's starting, like you said, Paul, I think he's starting to gain more influence on this side a little bit now. Was heavily involved and certainly responsible for starting the play for the first goal on Sunday. Do you think it's his midfield spot to lose now? Is Ollie Arblaster coming back to try and challenge Gyro Riedeveld and Sidney Peck for their starting spots in the midfield?
Well, I think the ball's definitely in his court, in that we'll want some consistency from him. Like Wilder will realise he might not be ready for 3 sets of 90 minutes in a week. I think Blaster coming back, is it a coincidence that he stepped on in a big game? He's played in bigger games than that. And to us, it is the big game. But yeah, he's been to Old Trafford. He's been to
yes,
the Emirates. He's been everywhere like Johnny Cash. But he's played bigger level than that. And I think we're the lowest level he's played. And I think it became obvious that he was comfortable in the cauldron, if you want, and didn't sort of shirk anything. And I think that's what he's been trying to do by getting players like him, Innings, through the door. Ben Mead, the same thing. I thought he was excellent in the game.
Yeah, I did.
That experience in that game is like a real difference maker. Yeah. When you're under a bit of pressure, and when we were under pressure after 3 or 4 minutes, they had the first bit. And the older heads will be going, right, come on boys, we do our stuff. When we get the ball, we try and play and and you can just tell there was a calmness to it all, and it's no surprise really. I think Riedeveld could be a big player for us. I'd love to have the four that we've got are an interesting 4, aren't they? If you don't rely on Davis being there, in Samari, Riedeveld, Blaster returning, and Peck, I think that's what you need. You need 4. Because again, 3 games a week,
and 4 different players as well.
4 different players, different options. I think that central midfield area will not be. I don't think Peck's name will be on the first name on every team sheet. I'm certainly not digging him out. I thought he showed a lot of leadership, real courage for a young player on Sunday. But
I think it could be under Wilder. I think Wilder's a huge fan.
Well, he is, because Wilder likes him because
ever present, isn't it?
Because of this. But it's because there hasn't been really anyone to take him out of the team yet, Jim, and there will be soon.
But you could have gone Gyro and Samari.
You could have done, but you at the minute, no one's saying drop City for Samari, are they? So
no.
I think Gyro was probably the first one on that team sheet potentially for this game, because I think of his experience. I think Peck's earned the right to start the game. Obviously, with the situation we're in anyway, that was pretty obvious. But I think when Blaster comes back, we've got a really nice problem to have in the centre of midfield. And you had Davis in the mix when available. And again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. But
yeah,
I think those 4 represent a really good mixture of types of players that we could have. And I've still got hopes for Samari. I was saying it to you the other day. I think he's got a lot of tools, a lot of things that are really good qualities. And I think having the players around him like that, certainly Riedeveld, he's got to be talking to him. He's got to be talking him through the game and helping him. And there's nothing wrong with changing that at 65 minutes when you need a fresh energy and a fresh impetus in the game. We've got good options off this bench as long as they can stay fit in some positions, not all.
I'm going to jump into comments in a minute, but Dave, it's difficult to predict what Wilder will do. I think we're starting to see some semblance of an 11 that is towards his preferred. I think we could all probably pick his first 14 now, I would say. I think Patrick Bamford will be in that 11, like Paul says, when he's up and running. Because it's a 3 games in 6 days scenario, what would you do? What changes would you make to this side, considering it's the middle game, either side of quick turnarounds? Do you make 4 or 5 changes? Do you make 2 or 3 changes? Do you go again with the same team, thinking that they didn't have much of a sweat to break on Sunday? What are you doing in terms of your team if you were picking it going into game tomorrow night?
I would go same 11 apart from I'd start. I would give Bamford the start and try and give him 60 minutes over Ings. Just going back on the previous bit, and I know we've got positive blades, we've got the negative blades, and I think I'm going to try and be the party of one in the grounded.
Oh, grounded! All right, so you're everyone else is pie in the sky.
Oh, the wisdom.
Yeah, the oracle over here. I'm the grounded blade.
Wait. We played the worst, and we've just said it. It's our words. The worst team in the division by a margin. Right?
Are you Meldrew in disguise? You?
No. There's loads of positives to take from Sunday. Loads of them. Right? We were excellent.
Yeah.
But the challenge is the next game. And then the next game. And we have a tendency to go from where they're awful and this player's not doing this and he's not doing that to and we've got all this and this stuff. And I'm just very wary that we've struggled this season against teams who sit in and make it really difficult for us to break down. And it's going to be a different kind of challenge, as Paul's quite rightly said, and we're going to have to try and break them down in a different way. The most important thing for me is that, if we come out of Wednesday's game with 3 points, great. That's fantastic. If we struggle and we maybe end up with another, 0-0, that we don't go home thinking, oh, well, look great on Sunday and they've gone back to how they were. I think we've just got to give them a game at a time and keep supporting them to try and build this bit of momentum. We can build into something because it's all flashes of last season.
Dave, I'm with you, but I think we've run out of time. I think we're out of time.
But what I mean is we can't suddenly be going after that game and they offered nothing. Right?
Yeah, well, like an exhibition match, weren't it?
They offered nothing.
Yeah.
And for certainly a couple of the goals, I think I'm not taking anything away from the finishers. The keeper was Bobbins.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
right.
Awful.
I'm just really wary of not being on the swing of this pendulum of. I want to just go.
But we're on it. We're on it.
I think you're right, Dave. I personally think as well, because of that, and you don't. It's very hard to say, but there's probably games that we've lost this season where we've played just as well, and because we tend, as supporters, we tend to look at results and go, well, we were rubbish there because we lost, or we were brilliant there because we won. There's been games we've drawn that we've played better than games we've won, and there's games we've lost that we've played better than others. And I think, for me personally, that's how I feel. So I think the key thing, if on over a 46-game season, is the improvement and, for me, the confidence of the players. I think that it was big for the forwards in the team, because they are the difference makers. You can dominate games and have 5 shots to 0 and still be 0-0. And you can go through games and have 7 shots to 1 and lose it 1-0. And if your forwards don't take the chances when they come, I mean, the Ty Campbell miss, is a goal for most strikers at any kind of level, playing on a Saturday or Sunday. Personally, okay, I'm not after Campbell. I'm not, but that on another day would be sat here going, if it was 0-0 and he missed it, would be like this.
There's 3 chances in that game like that.
Yeah,
Cannon, Ings, and that Campbell one.
I wouldn't say Cannon's can be classified in the same as the Campbell one. I think
keeper does well. Keeper does well against Cannon.
It's his second touch though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would have expected.
Again, not digging him because is the effort for the goal great, and I'm so chuffed for him that he scored. It's just trying to keep that little bit of balance of.
Well, there was even little things at the end, like Femi playing for Bamford. It was probably the wrong ball as well. It probably should have been cut back for Peck, or because we had men free in the middle and other things, and it was quite hard finish. And we thought Bamford was showboating, but like Jim said on the stream afterwards, it was he was improvising because the ball was just behind him a little bit. It was actually really clever what he was trying to do. So yeah, I think that it's those little bits. The more they go in, the more likely they're going to go in next time.
Yeah.
And because some of them went in, and certainly for Cannon, and obviously we know what Ty can do. You know, two really well taken goals and a great run for the first one. No disrespect in that. The miss is if it mattered, we'd be sat here going, what the hell's happened here? But you know, I just feel like what we've got to do as Unitedites is just be a little bit more middling when it's not, because we're still building. It's getting better and better as far as I'm concerned. And if it just goes another 5-10% better, we're going to get a lot more.
Oh God, yeah.
Wins out of draws and draws out of defeats where there've been defeats earlier in the season. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, and you've said it, numerous times compared to where we were at the start of the season under Sayers. I mean, it's
night and day, isn't it?
Yeah,
different.
And yeah. I get what you're saying, lads. I genuinely do. And I'm everything you say is logical, and this is how we should be approaching it. But
you're wrong.
But no, not you. You're not wrong, are you? It's your opinion, but I slightly disagree in the fact that we're so elated we're beating them lot. It's a multitude of things. I think it's because we beat them. It's because we were nervous going into that game because we didn't know what Sheffield United had turn up. But post game and during and post game, you see that United turn up where it's a familiar Sheffield United feel to it. It's a battling performance. It's something where they're putting their bodies on the line. They're making the lung-busting runs. They're doing what we've seen in teams gone by under Wilder. And it gets you a little bit excited. Now, if we go into Portsmouth and we don't take advantage of this, like starting to build this momentum, if we can't beat Portsmouth, and this is no offence to Portsmouth because they're a tough side to play against, as are any side in this division, we know that. Championship's ridiculous for anybody can beat anybody. And there's you can't really predict results in this league, as we are showing in football therapy, Paul, to be fair. But if we can't go in against Portsmouth and be confident of a win, then we can't, after winning 3-0 at Hillsborough, what is going to pick us up? What is going to make us then be able to garner anything out of this season? Look, I'm with you. I think you spoke a couple of weeks ago, Paul, saying it's way too early to talk about relegation. And I think we were all in agreement about that, but was there a concern at the back of people's minds that Sheffield United were going to be involved in a relegation battle this season? You can have the same conversation now about the playoffs, like you could have done at that time as well. It's too far away to even think about. So we're not going to entertain thoughts of, can we still make the playoffs? Even though we've all got it in the back of our minds that if we pick up 3 wins in a row or something like that, then we're right back in the mix. You've got to take it a game at a time.
Yeah.
I understand that, but if we draw against Portsmouth, it's going to be the bursting of a bubble for a lot of Blades.
What if their keeper has an absolute world?
Don't matter, does it? That don't matter. You don't look back at performances, really. You look back at results, don't you, like Paul was saying?
Yeah, but then you shouldn't be going out. If that happens and we draw 0-0 because they were so good defensively, we couldn't break them down, we can't walk away and go, well, ugh.
We should have beat QPR, Dave, but you don't think, brilliant, we're back, aren't we? You don't think...
So you shouldn't. You go away and think, God, that's disappointing that we couldn't... if you've tried all the right things and the opposition have just had one of those games where they've gone, you've thrown everything at us, and we've just held on.
And that's fine when you haven't chucked the first 15 games away.
But
Right.
You can afford slip-ups here and there and bad days at the office when it's a clean slate. We've lost 11 games.
Right, but is it a bad day at the office when you play against a team who play incredibly well, and you maybe just don't quite get enough of the bounce of the ball here to get that finish, or if you've done all the right things,
you can't do that every other week, can you? You can't come up against those sides every other week, otherwise your season just peters out to nothing.
Right.
We're going to have games like that, and it won't mean that everything's over. That will happen.
We can't sit here, Jim, and be because we're going to get a shot down for this, because we can't win a game, a big game, a great game for us personally because of who we're up against and whatever. But the great game for United, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
we were really, really, really poor, and I mean, when people talk about luck in football, those first 5 matches.
Yeah, we were awful.
The reason that the towel from me was thrown in and I went for him was because we weren't even average. We weren't even in the game to go in off someone's backside and for us to nick a win. Now, managers talk about that all the time. Sometimes that's what you need to get going and kickstart things. We weren't anywhere near getting a result in any match that I watched in those first 5 matches. We nearly scabbed a point because someone else was dreadful, I remember. But other than that, we were just awful. Everything was awful. We weren't competitive. We weren't tackling. We weren't running. We looked knackered. No one could last the course.
Yeah.
Method to the play. We went through 5 games and we had about 3 shots on target. It was that bad. Now, when Wilder came back, he's not a miracle worker. It's not just going to go, oh, Wilder's back, here we go. And what we can't do is sit here as Blades and go, yeah, we can't write off the first 10 games because Wilder didn't have enough time to deal with the team, etc. But it has to be a factor. You and I both know, watching this team, they've got better and better and better. And even losing 3-1 at Coventry, we were banging the game. In the game, we could have easily got a point from that game.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could.
Against the form, the runaway winners of this league on paper right now. They look like they're going to do that. They were not a class apart, and that is really encouraging despite the 3-1 result. We've turned up and put in, I think, a decent to good performance against Sheffield Wednesday. And yes, people might say it was easy because they're not very good. But you can only, like you say, you can only play against what you're up against. Yeah. We cannot be arrogant enough, Jim, to sit here and go, we've had one good result. We're still in the bottom 3. Now we expect victory. We are now competitive in this league. We've got players who are getting fitter and understanding's getting better, and we're getting into better form. But we can't sit here and go, well, we should win that one. And then
firstly, I'm pushing back on that. I don't think it's an arrogance to say that we should be confident going into a game after we've won 3-0 away from home. What I'm saying is, if we can't use this as a springboard for momentum, building momentum, then I think some fans will lose hope that we can get anything out of the season. So I'm not saying I expect us to steamroll Portsmouth tomorrow night because we played okay again, and we should have had 5 or 6 against Sheffield Wednesday, because we won't be the only team to do that to them this season. But if we're starting to look anything like the old Sheffield United, it doesn't mean I expect us to go on a charge to the playoffs. But if we are going to have any hopes of salvaging anything from this season, and even having faint hopes of doing something, even if it's a top half finish, we haven't now got the time to say, oh, well, we played well against Portsmouth, but unfortunately they nicked one at last minute. And then go to Leicester and, yeah, oh, well, if it weren't for that deflected goal that they got in last 5, we played really well. We've done that too often. We haven't got the option. It's got to be an almost perfect. If we were to even get a sniff of the playoffs, it's all right. People are saying, will Wednesday get relegated? Mathematically speaking, if you go with a 50-point average, Sheffield Wednesday have got to have top 2 form now till the end of the season to get to safety. They have got no chance. Sheffield United averaged 2 points a game last season. We need that form again to even be in contention for the playoffs now because of how far we've set ourselves back.
About that yet, though.
Dave, if you reassess at 30 games and we're in 18th, then we're still miles away from where we want to be. All I'm saying is you've got to try and this good faith will only last while the team's playing well and getting results.
Everybody knows that this league is about putting runs together. Everybody knows that this league, the only way that you're successful is by stringing together a set of results. We know that, Jim, but we can't hang our hat on a game. We've still got 30 matches to compete with.
But why can't you be optimistic after a game and a performance like that?
We're not saying not to be optimistic.
Listen, that's not me. You know that's not me.
I know, but why can't we say you're saying it's like one isolated game? It's going to your rivals and winning 3-0. It should be a season changer.
Why are we going to be crying in our beer if we draw? Why is that a thing? We've got to be more real.
Because after pie.
There'll be loads of games at this point where we're still gelling a team together, and we are still gelling a team together. Well, there's going to be draws, there's going to be defeats, there's still going to be victories. But it's really encouraging. But if it's a draw, Jim, or a defeat tomorrow, I don't think it will be. I think we're getting better and better, and I agree. We win. But if it doesn't work out, we can't all sit here looking at each other going season over, because there's a lot of this league is massive and long. We might go and win at Leicester. Now I'm thinking as a Sheffield United fan, I reckon the fans' reaction will be if we win tomorrow and we draw at Leicester, people will go, "What a great week for Sheffield United."
Yes,
and so they should. If we draw at home to Portsmouth and we go and beat Leicester, people will be like, "Oh, why didn't we beat Portsmouth?" And it's like,
no, I don't think they will. I think it'll be more a case of a little bit down after drawing with Portsmouth, and then playoffs will be on after beating Leicester. I think that's how it will be.
Well, I think that there's the way that we're playing, and this is what I want. This is my message, and it doesn't have to be everybody, and not everybody has to buy it. Is that performances are getting better, and the better the performances, the more likely we are to win. And it won't have done us any harm on Sunday, but I am not now expecting Sheffield United to steamroll teams and easily and.
Nor am I.
There's no guarantees. This league, this season, look at this league. We are 12 points off the playoffs, and we're in the bottom 3. It is that tight, and you can't put an acca on this league because there is always a result that is going to throw that acca in the bin. Teams are very evenly matched, and it's just about if we can put enough quality moments together, we can win football matches. That's what happened last year. We were very evenly matched with a lot of the teams we played against. We just had that little bit more in the final third, and we had some good defending to keep us winning by the odd goal here and there. And that's what you've got to do in this division, because we do not have any right to look at any side who's coming to Ramble Lane based on what happened on Sunday and go, that's a home banker. Because we are not quite there yet.
No, we said before the Sun game on Sunday, are we under less pressure because we're playing away from home? Well, that was one of the points that were made. You know, it's really positive stuff.
It is.
And I am not being negative at all. I just wanted to give the lads the opportunity to build up some momentum, and that for me doesn't mean we have to go and win tomorrow night. What we have to do is make sure that we continue to do the things that we were doing on Sunday. But we have the history tells us from this season already, the teams that we struggle against the most are the ones that are the hardest to break down at the back, because we don't tend to play the ball quick enough, and we don't tend to be as mobile and making the runs that we need to be doing.
But Pat Bamford does give us another option there.
It does.
Now he gives us that aerial option to go more direct into the box,
which we've tried to do with Ty, and it just doesn't work.
We could win, and we're all coming out and going, okay. And I think it's about, as much as momentum doesn't build like that. It takes time to little bit by little bit, and our positivity should follow the same bit where you go, okay, that was good at the weekend, but the opposition were rubbish. We go into Wednesday night. Well, they were a tough team to break down, but you know what? We got a result. Oh, then we're going into Leicester. Right, what can we do against Leicester? Okay, well, they maybe defended better, and we struggled there a little bit in the last third, or maybe we just had one of those things at a set piece and it ends up 1-1 or something like that, and then we come out of it and go, okay, but we didn't get beat. Let's keep that little bit of positivity going, and you start just to chip away. And then before you know it, you could be looking in 10 games' time and looking back over the previous 10 games and think, oh, God, we've really made some progress over that period.
Yeah, it's an accumulation. I understand that. But
we can't just go, win.
But you've got to go game to game.
5 out of 10, wouldn't we now? We'd take 5 victories out of 10 now.
Yeah, we would, yeah.
From where we've
been. That's what I mean. Would you rather take 5 victories out of 10 or draw 10 games?
5 victories.
Of course.
And that means you've lost 5.
Yeah, or maybe drawn 1 or 2. I don't know.
But you know what I mean? It's about that accumulation, isn't it? And
yeah.
As long as we see there's lots of development, there's lots of positivity, and their players are coming back. Let's just we go in there and let's get that support going on Wednesday. But if we fall behind and we lose 1-0 because of, like I say, there's a set piece or a dodgy ref decision or a free kick from 30 yards out, which just goes into that bit in the top corner that no one's saving. Let's not come out of it at the end of the game and go, well, we're doomed now because we've lost that one. We're going to lose games. Going to happen.
Paul, what's your team for tomorrow night?
Again, ideally, I agree with Dave that I think Bamford we should try and be building his minutes, and if that means an hour, I think he does come into the side. I've been intrigued to see whether Campbell's the choice. We don't know the conditioning or the recovery of the players per se at this point, because I think that they're all getting a little bit fitter and a little bit closer to being able to do 2 games in a few days. So it'll be a little bit dependent on that and who's available. I see Gus coming into the starting 11 potentially at Brooks's expense. Despite his hard work in the week, I do think he is a different. He's just
different level, isn't he?
I think he has to. I mean, I know that I heard you talking before about does Gussamer, does he just walk back in? Doesn't need to fight for his spot? I think he comes into the team because, again, if he lasts the hour, it'll be a good hour for him.
So you'd bring him in for Brooksy? On the right,
yeah, potentially, or you swap them over.
Air on the right,
potentially, yeah. I think that he'll try and get them both into the team, and I think he will try and play with the 2 up top because I think the personnel we've got in now in the building, I think where our squad is built for that, and it's been
we're 2 up top team now, aren't we? We're a 2 up top side.
Well, I'd love to think so because I think that the 2-3-1 has caused us to play a certain way because of the players that we've got in those.
Because of Gus, because he wants to fit Gus and O'Hare in the same team, and he wants Gus coming off the left and O'Hare in the middle.
Because again, while our team's success last season was about those 3 players at the top of the pitch,
and this season they were predominantly going to be our primary goal threat, weren't they? Callum O'Hare's been playing really well. Gus went out with an injury, but. Then we were hanging us out on Tyrese Campbell to a large degree, weren't we? So that's the way we were playing. So got different options.
I think there'll be an emphasis on most of the width to come from the fullbacks, and I think Riedveld's probably smart enough to know when to drop into those spaces between the 2 centre halves and split the centre halves, and do that job because that's what you have to have if you're going to have advanced fullbacks. So I think that it'll be Femi again, and I think it'll probably be McCallum again on either side. And I can well see, as long as they're both recovered well, it being the same team other than those 2 changes. I think Bamford starts. I think Hamer starts.
Interesting. I'm not sure Hamer start. I'd be surprised to see Hamer start, if I'm honest. That's just because I don't think he'll. I think he's praised Brooksy post-match as well, and I think it would be a bit of a confidence knock to Brooks potentially to be the one to come out of the team. I think we might also see Burrows as well because I think he sees McCallum and Burrows as much closer than some of the other players that he could change. So, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Bamford came in. I think I know you both called that. Go on, Dave.
So Lee Edridge has just shared something from Telegraph Football. This could open a can of worms. For how long have we got left?
We haven't done a comment yet.
Sheffield United's American owners made a shock inquiry in the sale of stricken City rivals Sheffield Wednesday.
Shut the what?
Sport learned of the approach after reports elsewhere that one interested party had suggested an extraordinary merger between the two rival clubs.
Never.
It is telegraphed, to be fair. So,
nah, never. Would never happen. Would never.
How to get a reaction out of a blade or an owl?
Nah, would never happen.
We are not getting into that now. We'll be.
No, we're not. Night. No, we're not.
I don't think we would be. I think it'd be quite a very easy.
Mate,
why?
It'd never happen.
I've said it before. No, but right. Okay, so here it is then. If
oh no, can't open, worms everywhere.
Yeah, we'll call it Sheffield United, and they'll love that.
Yeah, take the white from their strip and the red from ours.
The truth.
No, I know what you're going to say. Sheffield City would be a powerhouse.
Not well. That's obvious because we're a football city and two big clubs in the same city. These are people who do not know anything about football, and we are a PLC, the same as they are.
Yeah,
I know. And it's so conceivable that they could force that to happen, whether that's shoes off in the car park, no matter what we think or what we say or how we feel, and all the history that will go in the bin, and everyone, and there'd be FC Sheffield
of United,
FC United of Sheffield,
United of Sheffield, and Sheffield Thursday, Phoenix clubs.
That would happen. That would definitely happen. But the truth is, if they saw that as a viable commercial enterprise, we are a PLC, and honestly, as much as we wouldn't like it, there would be Jeff all we could do about it as well.
MK Dons.
There'd be nothing we could do. We're a PLC. We are owned by the people who buy the majority of our shares. And that is it. End of story. And, the fans can boycott. They can march down to the FA. We'll march down there. It wouldn't make a blind
Then they'll listen.
They won't do it. Like, they bloody will. If someone offers him a load of wedge, oh, mate, it's...
if you know, Unitedites will. Oh, dear me.
I know it's not worth us thinking about, but these people have already proven they don't know a lot about footy, mate, and they certainly don't give a monkeys about what...
They know nothing about the region then, do they? They don't.
Well, if they did it, they'd be all that, but they don't really care what Jimmy Ramble and Man Mountain say about it, and Dave the Nose. They worry about, does it make commercial sense? And if it's all about the wedge, and the PLCs. PLCs are open to be people do what they want.
You know what? If you take the football and the history and everything out of it, and you go, oh well, they're on the cheap, and if we bought that and merged it together, then suddenly, you can see how somebody you can see how somebody who's not a clue about what the reality is going to go.
As a no context principle, then yes, you can understand it, can't you? But in terms of, they are, if you can get them for 50 million quid, when they are, in essence, there should be an 80 million pound club.
50?
Well, whatever they're going for, I don't know.
I'll give 50p.
Well, I won't either, but anyway, it's not happening. It's not happening, lads.
It'd be funny though, wouldn't it?
No, it would not be funny.
Eddie, mate, these comments are going to be amazing.
Yeah, it won't.
But from their point of view, lads, from their point of view, they flood the land. Hillsborough becomes an IKEA. They knock down the cop. They knock down the Bramall Lane. But they go, right, we're going to do this. We've got loads of land. They go, right, we're going to build a 50,000, 60,000 seater. There is literally nothing we could do about it other than not turn up to games, not support the club, boo, whistles like at Coventry, and whatever we decided to kick off, there would be literally nothing we could do. And from their point of view, probably the land's worth God knows what. They'd get the club for Jeff Hall, and then the land's worth will be worth an awful lot.
I don't know any Blades or Owls, and I don't know many Owls, but I don't know many that would be even consider that. But do you think there will be a portion of the fan base that would be excited about
that? It wouldn't matter what we considered.
Depends what you consider a portion. I think you might get 2 people out of however many tens of thousands.
It's that unpopular, isn't it?
Do you know what? In fairness, if it's not true, they need to come out. I think they need to come out and put a statement out saying That's not true, because if that spreads a bit, that's going to do their. Not that they seem to care too much about their own PR, but that.
Do you really think we're going to hear from him, Dave? Have we heard from him yet? Other than the Bettis cap in hand interview, have we even heard from him?
Yeah, but should and will are two different things. I'm not saying they will put a statement out, but for me, I think they should put a statement out.
Well, usually they'd put a statement out when you buy a club, wouldn't you? Or you'd say something.
They did put a statement out.
Yeah.
They just haven't been challenged like in person, have they, at all, at any stage? It's always been like sanitized statements, written statements.
How many other clubs is that the case? You know, they should do these things, but they don't. I don't think Glazers have ever come out and sat in front of somebody and.
I just think they're missing a trick, though, aren't they? They're missing a trick, I think.
Yeah, they are, but who wants to come and sit down in front of a camera when every decision, the majority of the decisions they've made are backfired, and they've had to backtrack on so many of them. They're going to sit there and get people going, "You've messed up," you know. So why would they do it when they don't have to do it? And yeah, you come out.
That's why they won, isn't it? That's why they
got promoted at the end of last season. I bet you they've been all over it.
Yeah, we'd have heard from them then, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
I think. Right.
They're from the land of the franchise, boys. Franchises move from
Sheffield Raiders.
Mate, they're from the land of the franchise, pal.
Well, Espresso has always got me pumped. Very excited to be back at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane, says Footy Fanatic, and really hope we can get a run together with a good run, not many injuries at once, a good Jan, and then you never know. That's referring to promotion. Big if, but if doesn't mean it can't happen. Up the Blades, up the award-winning Ramble, up behind the Ramble, up the Man Mountain, up the nose. Up the nose? That's not very good. Up the Tuesday Taxi Ramble in Wilder We Trust. Thank you, Footy Fanatic. Less acronyms. Is it an acronym, Dave? No?
Up the nose.
Up the nose. Dave, Bean says, great to win on Sunday. Was amazed by how bad they were. Can't be complacent going into tomorrow because we have to win that too. With the squad looks currently, what do you think we need in January? For me, we'll need a centre-back to replace Bindon for depth, a right-back, a centre midfielder because Tom Davis is a joke at this point, a couple of wingers, and maybe a striker. Gyro should definitely get an extension till June. We can't do too many of these questions because I'd rather have like more statements than questions at this time because I've just fired through. And on these 3MB streams, I know I pre-warn everybody that I can't get through all the comments, but just on this one, where do we think probably is the priority position, lads, to strengthen in January? I think you can probably say strikers nowhere near as necessary as it was before Bamford. I think right back for me looks a position that we could do with strengthening. Centre back for depth makes sense, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity. It will be once Godfrey Bindon goes back. If Zatterstrom goes out on loan, we will need somebody. But we've got McGuinness there. We're playing two at the moment.
We didn't last season, did we? We only had...
We had three.
We had three, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's as high on the priority list as other positions.
Yeah, I agree. I think centre midfield, we won't necessarily be tripping over ourselves. Wingers, we could. Right wing particularly might be an area that we look at. Just down the right-hand side, really. Go on, Paul.
Two or three wide players and a right back. And like Dave has said before, and you've said, potentially backup for keeper, but certainly two wide midfielders and all wingers, and then a right back definitely.
Okay.
I think that's all he'd be interested in.
Huge happy birthday to one of our longest and biggest supporters, Mr. Vancouver. Happy 30th, my friend. Looking fantastic. I don't care what anyone else says. I still believe we'll make the playoffs at a minimum. Just because I said you were 50 and people were saying happy 50th, Man Mountain.
Mr. V is not afraid of his age.
Even when he's not, he's 50. Jimmy's just said he's 50. I went, he's not 50. Jimmy's just said it. I'll rewind it. I went, he's not 50.
It was good though, getting people to comment happy 50th, Man Mountain. They were like, that moisturizer's not working. I still believe we make the playoffs at minimum. I'm not saying that because of the slaughter of the pigs, but because we're now stocked up front with lots of different options and our injury list is shrinking every day. Oh, yeah, and we've got Callum O'Hare, who Mr. V has backed from day dot, to be fair. I do think talk of the playoffs is way too early. We're 22nd. We're 22nd in the league. I know it's not impossible, but I think we've just got to measure ourselves a little bit. Agree, lads? Do we think? One game at a time?
Definitely.
Well, it's after Watershed, isn't it? But we're still a family channel, so stop. Jack says, evening, gents. Hope you're all well. Another derby win. We should, no matter how bad our season is, always be levels above them. Thought everyone rose to the occasion. We have to push on now. We look miles better with Ben Mee and Tanganga as centre-backs and Femi at right-back. McCallum, who would have thought he'd be our starting left-back? We have plenty of options around the squad now, so no excuses for us not to kick on. Josh says, do the three of you feel tomorrow is a must-win? For me, keeping up the momentum is crucial. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Josh, thank you for siding with me on that. I'm not saying it's a must-win, but I'm saying I think there'll be some disappointment if we don't. The lads have given their opinion as well, saying that, look, the bigger picture is that we continue to build on what Wild has started to do, and that's a slow turn towards, it's building blocks, essentially. And one draw does not halt that progress. So, and I understand both points of view. I would love to carry on the momentum, I know you boys would as well, but I think I'm more eager for it to happen in terms of, I think it's more needed than you guys probably think it is. I think that's probably the best way to put it, because we all want to win, obviously. Dave Morwood says, evening 3MB, I'm home in time for this. Made sure my taxi was booked for 6:30. Up all the Rambles, up the Blades, up the 5PB. Like and subscribe. Also, the pigs are done. I'm 100% positive. They were poor, weren't they? Hi 3 Mighty Blades, says Ontario Blade. Good to see Peck and Cooper coming out of their sophomore slump.
Nice.
Sophomore, yeah, okay. Now we just need Burrows to come out of his slump. Peck is on an assist roll, 3 in 3 games. Up the something winning Ramble. Up the 3MB, like and subscribe. Ray says, evening gents. Get a win tomorrow and on Saturday, and who knows, we could gate crash the playoffs. Nothing is off the table. We could sneak in. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Batman. Your partner in crime, Man Mountain. Well,
that must be Robin then.
I think
to find some tights.
Find.
Yeah.
Evening, lads. Some good performances on Sunday, admittedly against the team miles off it, but we can only beat what's there. It's a start, and we need to follow it up tomorrow night. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Lewis will be up for the game, as will Jack. There's a few Statman Jack, that is. Dave, I assume you're there, mate.
Absolutely, with bells on.
Good man. Well, I know it's a family affair for the Learys, isn't it?
Yes.
Does that mean no after party if we win?
I'm not saying that, no.
You'd have to negotiate, wouldn't you, I think?
I love a bit of negotiation, as you well know.
The mid-season. Yes, you do.
Are you coming or not?
Well, it'll be whatever Kate decides, I think. I'm telling you, boys, and I don't blame him for that either. I'm telling you, boys, I'm on that playoff train so long as we win the next 2, says Tim. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I don't think this is tipping your way, lads. And I know these were early comments before you got your bits in about your bigger picture.
I can't see the comments, so I don't know if you're just picking out the ones that agree with you.
I'm reading every comment at the moment. I don't know.
I just have to trust you, don't I?
Listen,
yeah, you do.
Listen, right, it's tipping our way. We've got to be less reactive. We've got to be a little less reactive to something that doesn't sparkle. And
this one says, Dave the Nose, will you marry me? No, don't. That one I did make up. Just trust me on that one.
Evening, married man, but thank you very much anyway, Jim.
Ian says, evening lads, just wanted to wish Mr. V a very happy birthday. Hopefully another 3 points tomorrow to add to his celebrations and a nice kick-off time for him between his 3 a.m. starts up the award-winning Ramble. Thank you, mate. Cov already 2 up, says Ray, and that was at 8 o'clock. Mr. V says, thank you. Surely there are no Mardy Blades, says Peak. We're not Mardy tonight. Let me just double check. We haven't got that many to get through. We're all right. I think they're starting to understand that I don't ever get to everybody's comments, so apologies for that. Yeah, there are no Mardy Blades tonight. We're all very positive, I think. Susan says, who thinks we're passing much more quickly now? Yeah, I think there's been an uptick in the tempo, definitely. There certainly was on Sunday, but I think overall we've seen that. He talked about the slow tempo and that we're slowing the transition. I know Dave's not a big fan of the more modern words used in the game like transition, but
Yeah, I don't mind transition as much. It's
vertical football, isn't it?
half spaces and pivot. Anyway, that's
Low block. I'm not a big fan of low block either.
no.
It's just deep in it. Deep in two banks. It's just... hi lads, same team and formation against Pompey, says John. Only change would be Burrows. Keep Bamford as an impact player. See, I think I don't mind this, but we have got to consider the conditioning, and Dave's right. We don't know what the conditioning is like of some of these players. Just heard one one of the person that wants to buy the pigs, wants to merge with the Blades, can tell him what to do. Also bumped into Matt SB in Steel Foundry earlier. Good lad. He's a very good lad. Yeah, I know, Dave, we mentioned it very briefly. There are some murmurs that it might be our owners that want to purchase Sheffield Wednesday. Unbelievable. Hi, lad, says Paul in Tufty. We trust up the Blades, up the Ramble. Mark Meldrew says, tied to me, you're everything. Then Cannon scored and made it 3-0, baby.
Nice.
I love the song. I love, You to Me Are Everything is a classic, but I'm not sure that even rhymes, to be honest. So I'll tell you what, sing it to me tomorrow night, Mark, and I'll let you know whether it's a winner.
Sorry, just to interrupt, is that Aluko any good for Leicester?
She's the one that's had all the problems with Joey Barton, isn't she? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that...
Serious question. Honestly.
I'm not sure she's the answer to our goal-scoring problems.
Well, he has been sent off for Leicester tonight, so that would be a one-match ban, meaning he won't play the weekend.
And he's the centre-half.
I don't know.
What's he called? It's not Aluko.
Olabade Aluko.
Aluko, is it?
Yes, Aluko.
All right. Bloody hell, bite me head off. I'm talking to me
Left
father.
back,
I think,
according to FOTMob.
I think it's a centre-half.
Yeah. Well, I've not looked at them yet. Give me a chance to sort Portsmouth out.
Mavridides there. Mavridides there, danger man.
Yeah, he scored a good goal tonight, didn't he? Got to say, me and Jaffet look formidable. Centre back of back four pairing, brilliant, best in the division, in my opinion, says John. Paul says Femi Sariki is class going forward. Right wing back, I like him. We look better when he plays. He was man of the match against the Owls. I thought he had a really good game, Femi. A really good game. And got us out of some trouble defensively as well, which I had to highlight because I have been a critic of his in the past for his defensive work. Dave McCulloch says, my feeling is that Bamford will bring the best out of the three other strikers, so one could go out on loan, and City yesterday was last season's player with other players back, increase in strength. Paul says, just a thought on Tom Davies. Would you release him as he can't keep fit and taking up space in the squad?
You have to pay him off anyway. So
yeah, you would. It's as long as it's short, so I don't think it's worth it really. His contract runs out at the end of the season. I think this is his last year with us, to be honest. I think Ty already had enough credit in the bank before his double on Sunday, says Ian. Not with me, he didn't, to be honest. I appreciate what he's done for us, but he couldn't continue in the form or in the terrible form that he was in because it just was not happening, and he has started to play a bit better. Matt Lockblade says, evening guys, looking forward to tomorrow night, hoping to see the lads continue to gel together like they did on Sunday. It felt like things are finally coming together up the Blades, up the Ramble. Cooler King says it was a great result. I love how he has to now put at the beginning of his thing, Cooler King says it was a great result, a good performance, 3 much needed points, but they were the worst side in the division, so how much can be read into the result, I don't know, but it is progress. I think that's fair. Dylan says, thing is with Wendy's lads, the goalposts will always move. If we beat them, it's because we should. If they beat us, it's because they're massive. Most deluded fan base in the country, honestly. Yeah, and we could be shoulder to shoulder with them in our 60,000-seater stadium in about 4 years' time. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Paul Young says, only partner for Bamford will be Tom Davies on the treatment table. Dearie me. Cannon should start against his old club Leicester, says John. Blaster will not be the same, says Chris. Kelly says, hi Jimmy and everyone, I hope you are well. We're still buzzing from the other day. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble, like and subscribe. Let's get this channel to 11k. Thank you, Kel. James says the priority is getting out of the bottom 3 and then build on it. Yeah, I think that's fair. Leicester down to 10 men and losing 2-0.
2-2 now.
So they were down to 10 men, and with 10 men, they've pulled it back to 2-2. Great. LA Blade says, evening lads, been a Blade, living in Portsmouth. Really hope we beat this lot tomorrow. Come on, you red and white wizards, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like
Oh,
and
sorry.
subscribe.
No. So I'm reading the wrong one out. Middlesbrough Coventry's 2-0. It's 3-0 to Southampton. Sorry. Before I get hammered for that. Read wrong one.
Southampton on the charge.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's Middlesbrough 2, Coventry 2. Sorry, someone mentioned Coventry earlier. Bobby Thomas has scored an own goal.
He's useless, him.
Rubbish.
Luke's the Blades. Luke's the Blade says, let's be fair. First half against Bristol City was okay. Then we fell off a cliff. I'm glad we won, but we looked slow, says Dave Death. Andy says, Dave Death.
Smell Torito.
Yeah. We're nearly at the end now, lads, I think. Chris says, wish people would stop with the playoffs. Everything we win a game, see where we are after Christmas, see what the table is. Andy says, hopefully back the win at the Sty with another 3 points against Portsmouth. The team is beginning to take shape. Centre-back pairing look good, and a few players like O'Hare and McCallum cementing their places. Who hasn't had a comment read? There's a couple disagreeing in the comments. That's all right. Don't mind that. Mr. Swanee says 20,000 subs when you merge. I'd rather stick on 10, to be honest. I'm not. No. It's
What would
merging.
you call it? 3 Mardy what?
Well, we'd be Blades because they're going to merge into Sheffield United. They will cease to be. I can't support a club named after day at week. It's just ridiculous. It starts with a ludicrous name, and the rest of it's just tin pot from there. Helen says we're only 17 points off second spot as it stands. Helen, you're on the wind-up. You are on the wind-up. Chariots of Fire says, never say never. Look how far we finished in front of Sunderland. 5 or 6 games can be offset. Yes, it's a mammoth task, but it can be done. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Mark Meldrew says, you heard him, Jim. Aluko! Do the 3MB think Gyro has made a big difference to the team? Up all the acronyms. Yes, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I do. I like Gyro. I wouldn't say he's been an absolute game changer, but I think he's got stronger with every performance. And I think his best performance was his latest one against Wednesday. Lads, would you tend to agree?
Why aren't you sang his song like you always do?
Gyro, you are the reason I breathe. You can sing it with me if you want.
No, it's all right. I won't do that.
We'll let you do that.
Well, I'm telling you, if I'd have been in the hotel on Sunday, then Man Mountain would have been singing that song because I think he'd have sung any song that I asked him to on Sunday.
So there's some videos there on the group because I haven't seen these.
Dave, I know you've been at work today, but you need to watch that Ramble on the Road.
Okay, I'll make
You need to watch it, and some of those videos are included, minus Jamie Dumpling's swearing, which was absolutely outrageous. By the way,
Jamie Dumpling swearing. Sure,
he's not old enough to swear.
I know. I don't know who taught him those words, to be honest, at his age. Anyway, I don't know whether we were saying anything there, but Gyro, Paul, you were going to tell me whether Gyro has made a difference to the team.
Again, when he arrived, we were worried that he hadn't played a lot of top level football for a long time, and I think he's slowly getting better as he goes along. And
agreed.
He's got a football brain. He knows where to be. His positioning's very good, and I think there's more to come. I think there's more to come from 2 or 3 of them, and I think we're just starting to see how they're going to fit into this team, which is exciting. So yeah, I think we'll extend his contract.
I do.
As long, again, stays fit and carries on like he is doing, I think there'll be an offer.
You think Gyro and Bamford both stay till end of season now?
Well, again, we've had 15 minutes of Bamford.
I think we do. I think we should extend them both. I'll be amazed if we don't extend them both, unless there's an injury. Unless there's an injury that curtails it.
Like we said, let's ask us again in January when we know a little bit more about both.
You can stop laughing.
You know what we're going to say. You know what?
I think I did it last week or week before. I said I didn't think you were going to sign Gyro, so it shows what little I know.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah,
you really know anyway.
Well,
the nose.
I'm not wrong yet, am I? But it looks like I'm probably going to be.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Slade Blade says Yanks could own both clubs and shut either one down. It's a lovely thought. Chris says I'd like to see Bannon start in place of start in place of Ings tomorrow. Thought he did okay when he came on. I
Most
think-
unfortunate spelling mistake
That's-
of the night.
Honestly,
Is that
wow.
one of the Americans trying to join in the chat? One of our owners.
That's because we're merging the clubs together.
Barry, I think Bannon could do a job.
I do this on Stream
the
Builder
scene.
I do this on Stream Builder, as you know, so that's how we can get the effect of it sort of overlaying. I know, Dave, you can't necessarily see it, but it overlays on top of the headline bit. But it pulls through from YouTube. Obviously, that's how it works. I can see on here that he's retracted that message and he deleted it, but it stayed on stream. So I'm sorry. Anything that you put on YouTube, there you go. It's there.
We're famous forever.
Bistow Brett says, when I told you Wednesday walk the derby, Wed walk the derby. I know what he's saying here, but when I told you Wed would walk the derby, you all laughed. Well, you're not laughing now. Well, we are, lol. So you haven't put the apostrophe in the weed, so that could be mistaken for Sheffield Wednesday. Come on, Brett. You're better than this. So Brett basically bragging by saying he said he would. I have to say, Man Mountain, I know we've joked about Brett here, but you did ask him on, and it's recorded on Ramble on the Road, what he thought the score prediction were going to be, and he said 4-0 Blades, which it could easily have been actually in the end. And you went, 4-0. Let's ask some real Blades what they really think. Go on, you have a chance at retort because you had your hand up then.
Yeah. I thought we'd win, and you have to acknowledge that before the game saying 4-0 is a big. I'm a Blade. This is me. I'm going to say 4-0, and it was only 3-0. So I think I was close to my 2-0, wasn't I? So that's all right.
That is the worst logic I've
Brett
ever
knows
heard.
me and him we're very confident, and yeah, I'm on stream saying it. So
That is the worst logic I've ever heard in my life.
He said 4. It was only 3.
Yeah. What does he know? Get the real Blades on.
Miles off.
Hey guys, only just got back in, so we'll catch up later. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Thank you, Matt. Nice to see you, pal. See you in a bit. Hey lads, Ipswich 2 up at Hull, says Sheila's Wheels. Ipswich have picked up, haven't they now? I think they'll comfortably be in playoffs. If not, pushing for that second spot, maybe behind Cov, who are nailed on.
Southampton are the ones to watch.
Someone somewhere's having a toffee crisp, says Dave Death. I don't get it.
Don't know what it means, but I do love a toffee crisp.
A toffee.
Oh, don't
I do.
Don't start.
No, I do. Right, we're not gonna have that conversation.
No, you're not gonna.
Does it beat a Lion Bar?
I didn't say it was the best ever confectionery. I just said I like a toffee crisp.
They're not a million miles apart, Lion Bars and toffee crisps.
I think double decker.
Double deckers are up there. Elite.
Trump.
Not a watch along, lads. Come on.
Yeah, sorry, we're not watching. Huddersfield versus Bradford or something like that, are we? Come on, let's get back to business. Anyway, I think we are just about done. So, anything else you want to comment on, lads? Last thoughts on the Derby victory, maybe. How you think we'll get on tomorrow night, maybe.
Question.
Go first? Go for it. Tell me what you
not
think
a Sheffield
about
United
me.
related question, but it is a football one. So, what did you two think of that little incident in the Everton game last night? I think that
Never a red.
Moyes and Amarim have both said they didn't mind it and they don't mind the players having a bit of a scuffle.
No, I don't like it. I don't like his own players fighting with each other, but I don't think it were a red card either.
Paul?
I think the referees are bound by the letters of the law as opposed to a bit of common sense nowadays. And I think the referee has probably got instructions to say if somebody slaps someone around the face, then they have to leave the field. And I think that common sense flies out the window in this instance when it's between two teammates. Was it anything like what happened with Dyer and other people? Nothing like it.
Or Sousa and Robinson, where Sousa nearly flattened him.
Personally, I know it's easy said. And I think it's obvious. Personally, I'd have let Tarkowski give them both a bit of a roasting, and then give him a yellow, give Gale a yellow, and let him get on with the game.
Yeah,
I think Moisey might have had a different view if they hadn't have stolen the 3. Well,
I agree with that.
And got the 3 points and got steamrolled second half because there were 10 men. I think he might have had more to say potentially about how that was handled. But as they got the 3, you know, I think he wanted to get past it quick and just said he's apologised to the team. That's the end of it. And yeah, I thought it was poor. I don't mind players being, you know,
passionate.
Pull your finger out.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be slapping his mate around the head. By the same token, was it for us? If that happened on a Saturday and the ref sent off one of us for doing that to one of our mates, it just wouldn't happen, would it? So I just think that they're under such scrutiny. I think that they've got guidelines and they have to follow them.
Okay. What was the follow-up question, Dave?
No, I just wonder what your opinion was, because I'm probably a bit of a fuddy-duddy, I guess, and I just think I don't really care that it's, you know, it's a game of football. At the end of the day, it's a job, and I think if you were in any walk of life in any other company and you slapped someone you work with, then you'd be in a bit of bother. So yeah, I know you're giving it that face, but
Sport.
It's not like you're in the middle of an office and you go up and slap your mate.
Yeah, no,
why in sport? Why does it make a difference?
It's a physical sport, and your adrenaline's pumping, and it's. I'm not excusing raising hands at all, because I think it's daft. But it's a different context to walking into office on a Monday morning and smacking someone with your laptop bag, isn't it?
If someone made a mess of something at work, you wouldn't. If one of my lads, right, and another a lot younger, but they could watch that and go, "Well, the manager said it's all right," and something happens in a game and they
nailed one of your own boys.
No, honestly though, if two of my players did that to each other, I'd go to the ref. I'll take them both off, and they'd be replaced on the pitch. Also, I watched England play rugby the other day. Somebody does some tackles in rugby, and then they all stand there and they're all big. Yeah. They're all doing something very, very, very similar. The referee doesn't even bat his eyelid. He's literally
ice hockey as well.
I'm a footy today then. It's
a physical sport. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't overly aggressive. It was just really naive. And I think it was handled incorrectly. I agree. Common sense is in the bin. If that's a red card, personally, I don't.
I'll stand on my hill on my own then.
Speaking of common sense being in the bin,
you can stand with the referees, Dave, and just
star bars the bit.
Oh, maybe we'll hear from our resident ref on what he thinks as well.
Oh, possibly,
It's about a ref thing, because I think the ref's got no choice on it, has he? It's.
I think you're right. I think the referee has
more the state of the game, isn't it? I suppose.
But I just think stuff like that's got no place in.
It's like a lot of things that, like, for me, you know, the offside rule is ridiculous and
bit different though.
What?
Bit different.
And it is different, but for me, like the whole common sense element and that could have been deployed there. I don't think either manager or either anyone watching or anything else.
But they've come out. But they've come out afterwards and said, "No, I don't mind that. I don't mind my players having a bit of a fight with each other when they give the ball away." So.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Paul? It's like we could do with a show like this on Ramble FC, isn't it, to talk about some of the big incidents over the previous week. Almost like we could do with that.
It's almost something that's almost necessary, I think.
Well, there you go. I'll look forward to watching you boys debate that on
Batman Mountain. It's the Batman Mountain show. Anyway, we'll get to that in due course. But as I say, talking about common sense going in the bin, Paul Young says Star Bar is the best chocolate bar. No, it's not.
Be further from the truth.
It could not be further from the truth. Lion Bar says Bisto Brett. Double Decker special mention. The boys are sticking together on that one. Kel says, are we at home tomorrow or away? We're at home tomorrow, Kel, and there'll be an after party if we win. She also says, have you picked the team for tomorrow night? Or my team, because I asked you to yours. I've got that on countdown to kick off, Kel. I've done my team as well. Not too dissimilar to the lads, to be honest. Cooler King says, we all want greater consistency from the refs, and the only way to get that is to apply the letter of the law every time. So sticking to what Dave's saying, really, I suppose. Well, not necessarily what Dave's saying, because it wasn't a conversation about what the ref had to do, was it? It's more, you know, what action would you take in an ideal world against that sort of thing? And I would prefer to warn rather than send off in that situation. I think it's a booking, like Paul said. I think it's a booking for Gay. Let them deal with it internally, and that's just my opinion on it. The rule: if you raise your hands, no matter what, you're off. Says Matt. Like how bad is it that kids see that and copy things like that? Yeah, it's the same point as Dave made, which is fair. Chris says it's not acceptable on the pitch, and that's done in the dressing room away from the public eye. Fair dues. So Dave's got some support on that one, and I understand it too. Paul, any final comments, mate, you want to make before we get off to the Portsmouth game?
No, and I just want to make it clear, I'm not up for bursting people's bubbles. I think we're going to go and beat Portsmouth, and I think we're an improving side in this division, and I'm really positive about it. But my caveat is, if it doesn't go exactly as we all want it to, let's just take a breath, because there is still a long, long way to go, and we are an improving side in this division.
What's your score prediction then, mate?
I think we're going to win 2-0.
I said 2-0 in countdown to kick off. Dave, the nose?
1-0. Blades.
Okay, thank you to everybody for watching. As always, the next time you see us might be for an after party. Fingers crossed, because that will mean Sheffield United have beaten Portsmouth. If not, we'll see you for 90 after 90. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards!
Oh, the Blades!